And welcome to everyone here in this sanctuary. I'm so glad so many of you have a bear. If you don't have a bear, see if you look around and see if you can find one. They're coming in, and every week I think there are more of them. Welcome to all of you, and if those of you who are joining us on YouTube, I hope you have a bear. We are all loving on a bear this morning as part of our month of love and everything that we're doing. We're glad you're all here, bears and all. It actually looks more crowded with bears, so I like that. So we are going to begin this service the way we often do. We are going to begin with our opening song, and it's called Stayed on Spirit, and that's what we're aiming to do today. And here comes Harold Payne, who is our guest musician today. We're so glad to have him. And Reverend Mary Morgan.
I want to say a special hi to Harold. Harold has not been here since March of 2020.
Wow, well, welcome.
And he's a favorite, he's family here. And I want to say how glad I am to see you again,
Yes.
Harold. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Indeed.
All right,
Here we go.
let's do it.
I think it's on. It's on.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Dancing and singing, dancing and singing with my mind stayed on spirit. I'm dancing and singing with my mind stayed on spirit. I'm dancing and singing with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Won't do no harm, won't do no harm to keep your mind stayed on spirit.
There ain't no harm to keep your mind
Stayed on spirit.
There ain't no harm
To keep your mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning.
Woke up this morning with my mind
Stayed on spirit.
Yes, I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah,
Hallelujah, hallelujah,
hallelujah,
hallelujah,
hallelujah, hallelujah. Excellent. Great way to
Harold
start.
Payne is in the house. Thank you, Harold.
So me and the bear, we're ready for our opening treatment. We are walking and talking with our mind, stayed on spirit. So as I come together in consciousness with everyone in the sound of my voice, I simply say, there is only one mind. There's only one voice. There's only one spirit. There's only one. I am immersed in this one. I'm expressing as this one. And it's in this divine place that I am able to open my heart and mind to all of the messages that I know are just especially for me. And this is what I am knowing for myself for this entire service and even for this entire day, week, and month. It is stayed on Spirit, open to Spirit, ready for Spirit to express through me. God is so good. I am so grateful. And I simply rejoice and say, and so it is. So we are about to get the Galloping Katie coming in, who's going to be sharing announcements with us. And we've got a lot of things not only happening today and this week, but coming, and she's going to share.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to my Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living family here in the sanctuary and also on YouTube. Y'all are my spiritual family. I love this team. Today's Super Bowl Sunday. You're my God Squad. What did one Jedi say to the other on Valentine's Day? Yoda won for me. Thank you for that. Our speaker today is our interim senior minister, Reverend Catherine McKinney, and as you already know, our singer is Harold Payne. Thank you, Harold. Quick review of announcements. Today, join our Women's Circle at 12:30 p.m. in the Teen Room. This is a group of spiritually minded women who meet each month for discussion and camaraderie, and they'd love for you to join the women's group today at 12:30. This week, you guys, Tuesday at 10, Reverend Kathy's in-person book reading continues, and they're reading The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. That's here in person. Since this Tuesday is also Valentine's Day, there's no yoga class this Tuesday. But Wednesday, we got stuff going on. So we have the 9:45 a.m. via Zoom book reading titled Learn to Live by Irvin Seal. Please email the office for a Zoom link. And then, of course, we have our Wednesday morning service right here in the center and also on YouTube. And this week, I'm excited to let you know that Mark Ruth is our practitioner, and his topic is, Am I Effective? Next Sunday and every Sunday, we are effective here at 10:15 a.m. and also in Richelieu Hall for the Science of Mind Sunday class. This is where we explore the Science of Mind textbook, and this happens every Sunday before our regular 11 a.m. service. That's 10:15 in Richelieu Hall every Sunday. Looking ahead to the next week, although our office here is closed on Monday the 20th during the day for President's Day, it's important to let everyone know that the men's spirit group is going to meet here at 7 o'clock in the foyer. Also want to let everyone know a new series of 5 balance classes will continue on Monday, February 27th at 11 a.m., and the cost is $10 per class. For more information, please check your program. January 30th through April 4th is the season for nonviolence. This is inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This international event honors their vision for an empowered and nonviolent world. There are copies of the 64 Days of Nonviolence if you want to practice those statements at home. They're at the front desk, and you can also email the office or ask Doris for an electronic PDF. Today is day 15 of that, and today is day 14 of that, and the theme is humility for today. Making mistakes is a part of learning and growing. Simply really an error in approach. Today, freely acknowledge at least one mistake you've made and reflect for a couple minutes on what you've learned from that mistake. That's actually today's reflection. February, as Reverend Catherine announced, is also our Bears of Love Month. This is a time when we bring bears into the sanctuary to get cuddled and filled with love. We pass them on to the wonderful organization called My Stuffed Bags Foundation, and we give them to children all over America who are going through a challenging time. They get a bear to hug throughout the year. Bring in a middle-sized bear and pass on the love from now until the end of this month. Quick reminder for those of all of us who haven't paid their annual membership fees for the year. The fees are $35, and this entitles all of us to a discount on classes and a 10% discount in the bookstore. The fees go to the home office, which provides us with curriculum and assists all the Centers for Spiritual Living in many ways. For your convenience, for our convenience, because I think I still need to pay mine, you can pay your membership at the front desk. And that leads me to make sure all of you guys mark your calendar for the Redondo Beach CSL annual meeting. It's coming up on Sunday, March 5th. It's 12:30 here right after service. This is a good time to learn more about forthcoming planning. You'll meet our volunteer board of supervisors, and we'll vote on some new board members. You must be a member to attend this meeting, so again, please check with the office if you're not sure if you're an established member for this year. Doris wanted me to remind you all that Dial a Prayer is back on, and the number you can call for that is 310-540-5242. New prayers are posted every Wednesday. And a big thank you to all of our ministers, our practitioners, our volunteers. We are grateful for your time and your love, for all of you for lifting up our center, really. And now, back to our singer, Harold Payne.
It's very good to be back. Wrote this with my friend Jai Josephs. Faster and faster, this world keeps spinning around. Seems like the more we build up, the more we tear each other down. All the progress and technology won't bring an end to war and poverty until we see that what we really need is just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. If we're willing to try, we just might finally discover that all the problems that keep us apart can never be strong enough to stop the power of a little more love. Lying awake, searching for something to say, wanting so much to reach out, but feeling so far away. We keep trying to figure it out, try to break through the distance and doubt, but it just might be that all we're Just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Oh, if we're willing to try, we just might finally discover, oh, that love will be our harbor when we're lost at sea. Love is always the answer. Whatever the question, whatever we need, all we need is just a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Yes, we do. If we're willing to try, we just might finally discover, that all the problems that keep us apart can never be strong enough to stop the power of a little more love, just a little more love. Talking about a little more love, a little more trust in each other. Oh, come on, people now, right on your brother. Everybody get together, try to love one another right now. Thank you.
What a cool song. Thank you, Harold. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to be doing the mini lesson today, and Reverend Catherine's talk is about questions. Now, I don't want you to think that the big question today is who's going to win the Super Bowl, because we already know who that is. Yes, we do. But I was inspired by a question by the poet Mary Oliver that said, "What are you going to do with that one wild and precious life that you have?" Did you ask yourself that this morning? What are you going to do with that one wild and precious life that you have? Well, you can start now. I have a sign that's over the door in my home, and it says, "And they lived happily ever after." Now, we may know that as the ending to a fairy tale, and many of them, but for me, it's an affirmation. It's a great way to start the day. I lived happily ever after. It's already a done deal. So if you're not living from happily ever after right now, it may mean that what you're focused on is what isn't working. So when we're focused on what isn't working, we become experts at what we don't have, right? But the science of mind reminds us that everything is consciousness. Everything begins with a thought, and that thought is energy. And that energy produces the form. But where we send our thought is what's going to create the experience that we're having, right? So in Science of Mind, it says, change your thought and your life will change, because you need to shift out of what's not working and what is, and what it is you do want. Now, Ernest Holmes from page 206, I'm going to roughly quote him, and he says, "The universe receives the impress of our thought. That thought is put into a plastic substance, and it responds, that plastic substance responds to the thought that we impress upon it," right? So if you're in a pickle about something and you need to get out of it and you need to shift it, the best thing to do is think about what it is you want to create in your experience. And that's where our imagination comes in, right? Because what we think in thought comes into being. So the more robust and vibrant and heart-centered thought and picture that we can produce for ourselves, the better. Then the universe sees that and says, aha, I'm going to take that declaration that you've just made about your experience and create it. Because, you know, our mind does not know the difference between real or imagined. It doesn't know the difference. It's going to operate on the thought that you have provided for it. That's why it's important to keep the thoughts high and heart-centered. Remember, we live in a universe that loves us and wants only our best and highest good. So it's important to vision your best life and allow it. And then go out there and shine, because the world needs you. With me? Yes. Okay, so let's affirm together. There is one power. That power is God. It is the creative intelligence that created me and all of life. I'm declaring for myself right now, I am leading a life that goes happily ever after. And that's the truth. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to do it. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
I think I need a friend up here to help me do all of these wonderful things. I love the idea that our thoughts are prayers. And in a way, I'm counting on our using that truth as part of what I'm saying today. Curiosity is something that has intrigued me now for quite a while. A couple of months ago, I did a whole talk on curiosity, and I'm not sure all of the reasons I was stimulated to do it. Probably watching my granddaughter be curious was part of it, but I also saw this wonderful ad that I had seen so many times I couldn't say at the beginning of Masterpiece Theater by Viking Cruises, which sponsors Masterpiece Theater. And this man begins and ends by saying, so my family had these values, kindness, hard work, and honesty, but I added another one, be curious. Well, curiosity as a value, I don't think I'd thought about that before. And so that's what my talk was about. And as I incorporated in that and did some looking around, I discovered that what Walt Whitman had said, be curious, not judgmental. That really got my attention, which actually has percolated in many ways. And then RBCSL decided to make the grand theme for the month of February, curiosity is your superpower. And I thought, okay, now I'm with that. So as it comes around, I just had all these terrific ideas. Reverend Valerie spoke on Wednesday as curiosity is your superpower. And so in the course of talking about what she was saying, she mentioned that as a child she was shy and she needed the courage to ask questions. Well, when she said that, I really did a flip, because I was not a shy child. I was not a shy child at all. I asked a lot of questions, evidently, because I remember my mother saying to me, "You are so argumentative." So evidently, I was asking questions she couldn't answer, or she didn't like my answers. I don't remember what I said. "You're so argumentative." And then I come into grade school, and I got in trouble for asking questions. I was actually punished. I was put out in the hall. So I remember I was in 3rd grade. It was the beginning of 3rd grade, and they were going to have an activity this week. They advertised it to parents, so my mother knew what they were going to do. And so she said to me in the morning, "Now, don't tell her you already know how to do that." So I get to school, we start the activity. I already know how to do that. She said to this Miss Marty Pants, she said, "Well, you're going to learn my way." Well, okay. So I'm just saying, being punished for asking questions was my experience. So it wasn't courage that I needed to ask them. I had to think about what I was asking and what kind of response I was getting. So that really moves me to this topic. I have questions. And I think the real issue for me is, what kind of questions do I want to be asking? Now, what I am understanding that philosophically, psychologically, we all have very similar questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? Well, again, I'm influenced by this lovely granddaughter that I'm watching grow, but I believe we begin discovering who am I in the beginning stages. I watched her move around even before she knew how to take shapes like this and put them in something that was square shaped. But she'd take a block like this, she'd spend 10, 20 times more time than you and I would. We'd pick up this block. Oh, there's the block. I don't want to step on it. But not her, because she's at that beginning stage. She's absorbing. How is she learning how to be from a block? I don't know. But I do know that everything that comes along is part of that spongy thing that children do, that we all did. We don't even remember all of that. I don't remember all of that. I can remember isolated things very distinctly, but I don't remember so much. I do know that I asked questions in that period of time, and as I said, I was discouraged. So by the time I was at a discerning age, say 11, 12, when I started coming to conclusions, I can't say how I came to this conclusion, because I didn't tell anybody what conclusion I'd come to. By that point, I don't know whether I was influenced by being punished, but when I discovered I don't believe in hell, that I didn't tell anybody. And I didn't tell anybody at all. And I was 12. And it was at the time when I was invited to join the church. Everybody my age was doing that. We go to classes. And I wasn't going to tell him the minister, that I didn't believe in that. So that idea that there's some things that are harder to ask, harder to understand, is not just unique with any one person. There is a book by a woman who is talking about spirit and how belief in spirit. And she said in religion classes, she came from a Catholic background, in religion classes she had questions. And she asked those questions, and the instructors would give her some sort of answer, and she'd keep asking questions. And finally, they were tired of answering her questions, and they said, "Well, you just have to have faith." And so she came to believe that she had no faith. And it really damaged her own view of spirituality because of being repressed in that way. But some people have a different idea of what it means to be. It seemed shallow to me to just have faith because of that, just because you hadn't figured out that part of it. I was in college, and this is a long time ago. I was doing one of those classic college things, sitting up, leaning against a tree, reading a book out on the grassy knoll. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this woman drawing a bead on me. I knew she wasn't going to sell me Girl Scout cookies. I was pretty sure she was coming at me because we were going to talk about Jesus. And so you just had a sense, right? So she's coming, and sure enough, she's going to save me today. That is her goal. And so she's asking me all these questions, and okay, I was a little feisty, and so I said something to her about reincarnation, and I said a lot of things, and I knew it was challenging to her, and I did it anyway. But at some point in there, she said something about going to hell and damnation. I said, oh, I don't believe in hell. Oh my God. She had run out of little lessons to teach. She had her stuff memorized, she'd run through it, and finally what she said to me is, well, don't you think you should just believe in Jesus just in case? That's the truth. She said that. Well, at that point, I did not have a response. How can you respond to a faith that's so shallow? I got a trap door here. Just in case, I'll go down that door. So I just stopped talking. The conversation must have ended. I've never forgotten that. To have a belief that's so shallow that I'm going to do this just in case, that's not good enough. I have questions, and I need to understand better. And yet, I didn't know anyone to ask those questions of. So this is where curiosity comes in. There are answers. There are answers for so many questions, probably more than we can think of. We do have to look at them. And that nature of being curious, that's how we learn. That's how my granddaughter learns. That's how you and I learn. That's how we all have learned, is by being curious. But gradually, we get to the point that, oh, I already know that. Oh, I already know that. I don't need to learn that because I already know that. And once we get to that place, we sort of shut off all those curiosity things. And as Mary talked about imagination, we don't even have that because we've already got this covered. I've studied that block. I know about that block. I don't need to do anything else. Well, that bothers me. How many of us grew up in an era when there were encyclopedias? Okay, more than one. Well, did you ever have the activity where you just opened one up and just looked at what was there? Stuff you didn't know anything about, you just turn the pages and look, and then you'd find something that would capture your imagination, so you just start reading about that. And after a while, you get tired of it and close it. I've actually done that as an adult. We don't have them now, but before we moved, we kept that set, really honestly, for just that purpose. We were to the part, if you really wanted to look something up, it was way easier to go to a computer and look it up. But there was something fun about not knowing where you were going, just looking and seeing what you found. And so the idea of who am I is a question that we've answered to some degree. But you understand that question's never fully answered. We're going to keep redefining who I am. Why am I here? Well, we have an answer at some point, and it changes, and that's good. Change is good. You change the way you think about it, and your life does change. You've already demonstrated that. Where am I going? Wherever my curiosity, wherever my purpose, wherever my whole life bundle takes me, that's where I'm going. There was what lovely quote by Howard Thurman. He is a wonderful author, and he was picking up on that last question, where am I going? And he added the fourth question, which would be, And who am I going with? And what he said is, don't get those questions out of order. Answer where I'm going before you decide who you're going with, because it could lead to problems if you're trying to go with the wrong person who doesn't want to go, because that leads to conflict, and who needs it? So you want to move forward with that. So these are the questions that we ask. And as I was thinking about the questions and how they came up for me, mostly things that I see in hindsight, because at the time, I didn't see that. And what we all have to remember is the way any of us see things, the way any of us remember things, it may or may not be that way. We are limited in what we see and remember by our brain's limitations in what we see. We can't see everything at once. We see certain things that are filtered through the prism of our own consciousness, our own unique way of being. I've read any number of things about people who are so sure that this is what they saw, and the person next to it said, no, that's not the way it was. And then they argue about that and discover that neither one of them are right if they're looking at a video of what was seen. Have you ever seen that? And each individual is so sure. They're so sure. So when I see that, I have to realize that's got to be me too. I can only operate on my level of understanding. That's what Ernest Holmes says when he's talking about how to use a principle of science of mind. The only limitation I have is my understanding. And so when I want to grow in that understanding, I find ways to enhance my growth. Curiosity and discovering new things is one of them. He also said that gratitude is another. Being grateful for knowing that your life has purpose and that there is a higher way of being than you are now, and keep on knowing that. That yes, I'm happily ever after today, and yes, this is going to be the best day ever, if Valerie is saying it. Knowing that ahead of time, that is so valuable for you. That helps you discover a newer you. A you that sees more, that loves more, that is more, and you change it every day. Now, what also happens in life is that as we interact, because the questions I'm discussing up to this point are questions that you pretty much ask yourself. You may learn in concert with others, and I think that is probably a great idea. As a matter of fact, sidetrack, I don't know how many of you are going to watch the Super Bowl today. There are always these ads. Many people just watch the Super Bowl for the ads, I've been told. And so there is going to be an ad, or actually several of them. There's an ad by this group of people. They've spent $1 billion, with a B, dollars on an ad buy that are going to be sprinkled throughout the Super Bowl. And it's going to be about ways of being. It's paid for by a Christian evangelical group, but it doesn't talk about that. It talks about more a spirituality. At least that's what I read. I haven't seen the ads. So I'm kind of, wanting to see what those ads say, because they're intending to pique your curiosity about learning more about yourself in a certain way. And at this center, we absolutely do that. We want you to learn more about yourself and how you fit in the world. That's why we offer the activities that we do, to give you the opportunity to explore, to be curious in a safe place where you can be who you want to be. You can express who you want to be. I couldn't say that I don't believe in hell, but anybody here can say, I don't believe that. I had, on one of the book readings that I'm involved in, I had a person on the call say, I don't believe that, and talking about what we were saying. Fine, makes no difference. Everyone is entitled to that. And it almost brought tears to my eyes. I love the fact that he felt safe enough to say, I don't agree with that. That's just the best thing. And I would want everyone to feel safe enough that you can say, I don't believe that. I'd like to learn more about this. Oh my goodness, yes, yes. I also know that there are questions to ask of how to deal with other people. When I originally began preparing to be here and stand in this spot, I was focused more on that. Spirit had other ideas and brought me into a whole nother place, and I'm happy to be there. But we also have questions sometimes about how to relate to other people who don't agree with us, who have entirely different viewpoints. And there are a lot of tools out there for that. One of the main things is you don't ask what they call, or what I read, is a dishonest question. So if someone has a problem, it would be not honest to say, have you thought about seeing a therapist about that? When your idea is they really should see a therapist about that. And you ask the question knowing what the answer should be. Instead, you ask a question like, how do you feel when that situation is what is your reality? How does that make you feel? And that's an open-ended question, as opposed to yes, no. Or, why do you think you're feeling so sad? Open-ended question. And as we are allowed to talk about how we feel and how we know what we know in the world and how we fit, and we have the freedom to do that, we have the safety to do that. Oh my goodness. To me, that is how we actually grow in consciousness, that it's okay to be exactly as I am. It's okay for me to believe what I believe. Insist on myself. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, insist on yourself, and Ernest Holmes grabbed onto that. That's what gave him permission to do the curious thing and to move out there and ultimately create what we call a science of mind. Insist on yourself. And you have permission to insist on yourself and to be who you want to be and to feel like if I'm sad, I'm sad. If I'm happy, I'm happy. And we want everyone to be happy, obviously. But you know what? Most of us are not happy every moment of every day. So there's a comparison that we do, I suppose. And one helps us to love and appreciate the other. And to have your best day ever, or as my daughter and I say about our granddaughter, she's living her best life right now. And she is. She is happy, she is curious, and there is nothing more delightful but to be in that presence. And so why can't we all be like that? Have our moments and share our moments when that is the way it is. I feel very confident that this is a place where we can grow wherever we are, and there is no comparison as to where we are. It's more like scattershot. It's not like this. It's never like that. Creation is so vast in ways that we can't possibly imagine. Can't possibly. And yet we are here. We are here to be something, to be ourselves and be in this creation, to have a purpose, to be a purpose. But most of all, we are here to enjoy this life. We are enjoying being, expressing God. God only can enjoy life by means of each one of us. That is what creation is. The only way God can be in form is by all of us together. And I believe that there is a together that we like to be. What's interesting is that people from other cultures seem to relish being together more than Americans. This is in general. That's just a a statistical thing I heard on the radio yesterday. So I don't know whether that's true or not. I do believe that what many of us have learned post-pandemic is there is value in coming together at times in our life, sharing what we feel, sharing how we are, maybe even asking questions about where I want to be. I want to know that we're growing in that idea. And so, as I come to the close of these remarks, what I am knowing for all of us is that there is a power that is operating in me and in everyone in the planet, on the earth, on the universe. There is a power. It's expressing uniquely as me, as you and you and you and you and you, as all of us. And I am allowing the uniqueness that is mine to be in its full expression. And I grow in that full expression every single day. I am so grateful to know that when I speak my word of truth, and I release it and know that the creative process is taking my word. It is so. And I am grateful. And so I close with, and so it is. Hallelujah. And so we come to the time where we share our own bounty. And this is an important part of our center. This is the way that we come together. This is the oil that we use to run this center, your financial support. And we know that Amazon Smile is going away at the end of this month, but if you have an order, you need to get in. It is the end of the month. I did one yesterday, so last gasp of Amazon Smile. The ushers are coming down. Thank you. And we are going to share the blessing of our wonderful offering. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper. All those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love. One of the things that I am very fond of is our mission statement. And we are earning that mission over and over again, and we receive letters that talk to us. This one reads, "This is such a happy place, and I enjoy being here in the presence of happy people. It is so refreshing to expect everyone to be kind and to smile and to be pleasant all the time. I do love the services and the hospitality as well, but the feeling of welcome is also worth talking about." Thank you so much for that. And so now we have a great experience ahead of us. Harold Payne, we've missed, and so I'm so glad that you're back. Thank you, sir.
We all have questions like, who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? It just means your curiosity is showing. So if somebody asks you something, don't judge. Just show them unconditional love. Unconditional love. Your part is unconditional. Unconditional love. Yeah. Unconditional love. Oh, unconditional love. When you give, without expectation. Unconditional love, you are sending out positive vibrations. Unconditional love and the joy it brings changes everything. Oh, oh, unconditional, unconditional love. Oh, unconditional, unconditional love. Yeah, unconditional, unconditional love. Oh, unconditional, unconditional love. When your heart is willing and open, unconditional love, then the chain of love just cannot be broken. That's called unconditional love, and the joy it brings changes everything. Oh, oh, unconditional, unconditional love, you got it. Unconditional, unconditional love. The bears are clapping. Unconditional, unconditional love. Oh, unconditional, unconditional love. When you give without expectation, oh, oh, you are sending out positive vibrations. More cowbell. Unconditional love and the joy it brings. In this sanctuary it rings. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unconditional, unconditional love. Yeah, unconditional, unconditional love. Oh, unconditional. Bare your souls. Unconditional love. Yeah, unconditional, unconditional love. Unconditional. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So glad you were here today. Yeah, it's wonderful, Harold. I'm kind of blocked, Andy, but I think I can see you under there. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Andy does a wonderful job of bringing our music to us, our singers, arranging everything. We appreciate it. Thank you. So at this point in our time, we have so many things going on in our center. And I want to emphasize the annual meeting that we are having March the 5th. It's Sunday. And it is a time where lots of your questions can be answered about how this center is going forward. My understanding is that some people want to know more about Dr. Moira and things about Dr. Moira. And what you have to understand is that it is not up to me or to anyone in leadership, people who work at this center, practitioners, ministers, to talk about anything related to her medical situation. Legally, we are not allowed to do that. But what you are allowed to know and will know is what the board plans to do as it moves forward. And that is what's going to happen March the 5th. So count on that. There is a great determination on the part of the leadership to make that very clear. We have been through interesting times. And so what I am knowing is that as we move forward with great optimism and with great faith that it is going to be the best that it can be. And so that we're not only curious, we're not judgmental, and we are being grateful for the absolute perfect unfolding of what is the idea of Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living, 75 years old this year. And it is my intention, along with everyone else here, that we continue in the same fashion that we have, being this beacon on the hill that brings that light and understanding to everyone. And that is unfolding as we speak, and I know it is good and very good. So as we share our blessing today, let us know that we're doing this for ourselves as well as for those people who are out there that have their own issues with seeing the light and seeing the love. So let us know that divine love, it does do as Harold says. It creates that unconditional love that is the moving, active love and oil that makes everything go. So, as we read, I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life and expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only God. There is only God. There is only God. So let's rise for our congregational peace song, and know that any practitioners that are here that want to serve, they're right here, and they are ready to handle your prayer needs, to be whatever, and ask for help